Hello, guys. Welcome to the next episode of Football Monks. So, today we are going to cover the most fierce derby rivals, the North London clubs, Spurs and Arsenal. So, yeah, they both have been a bit erratic, and at tiers, they have both been in a tremendous form, beating any team for that matter. So, I'll just switch on to Keyur and ask what does he think for each club this season?
I guess Arsenal is still in the transition phase. Arteta is doing a good job, but we have to give him time. Fans have to be patient with him. He's developing a new team, a new strategy which they are playing. So let's hope for the best. I'm not expecting much of them. Maybe fight for the Europa position, fifth or sixth, because in no way I can see them even fighting for the top four. That will be something if they have a miraculous run of form. Otherwise, I see them fighting for the fifth or sixth place. That's
What
for
about
us.
Spurs?
And for Spurs, you know, they can be a surprise top four entrant, but Mourinho has his work cut out. He might have got his signings, but then the mentality which he wants to build into the team which he goes, it's difficult for everyone to cope up. United couldn't. Let's see how Spurs go.
So coming to Dixit, so Arsenal has been in transition phase. This is KU's statement, and so I can just add the word since behind it and ask you to fill in the year. So which year will it be? They have been in transition even before Wenger, even like of 2010 onwards. They have just been in transition. So do you think this is a new Arsenal or like Wenger era is completely over, the Unai hangover is already over, and we will see something different in Arsenal?
Yeah, so okay, you rightly said that they are still in transition, but I think the transition period is coming to its end. Now they have a new style, playing off the ball, at times pressing, at times resisting. A mix and match of Liverpool and Atletico Madrid, if I say. And with the young guns coming in like Emil Smith Rowe, Reece Nelson, Nketiah, Willock, Maitland Niles, Saka. It was revelation last season. All these guys, maybe they'll take one season to get in and understand how the league works, how should they prep themselves for the coming games, and maybe next season Arsenal can be a serious contender for top four. But I think they'll fight for Europa League. And if Everton or Wolves buck up, I think even Europa League will be a distant dream for Arsenal. But yeah, they will be in the fight for Europa League.
And what about the manager you love the most, his team, Jose
uh,
Mourinho and Spurs?
if we see the squad, Spurs have got the best squad in EPL. Somewhere, City comes at the same line, but City has some gaps to fill. Mourinho has the most complete squad. He has got almost two players on all positions. Apart from the Danny Rose situation on the left back, I think he has got all the blocks covered. And as you said, he would be surprised to see Spurs in top four. But on the contrary, I would not be surprised. I would be surprised if they lose out on top four. Mourinho's second season is always magical, always magical. I have seen that twice. I hope he does that with Spurs again. And with the signings, the signings that he made last year, the likes of Lo Celso and Jetson Fernandes and Bergwijn, these three will be on the heels this season, and you'll get to see these are Mourinho kind of players. And with the likes of Dele Alli and Dier already there, I think he's good to go, and I'll be. It will be really shameful if they don't get into top.
Coming to Rohit, the Mourinho magical season two, I guess it didn't happen that much at United, the club you support. So, do you think Mourinho is already past his best years and he may not be able to replicate it with the Spurs squad also because as you have seen many times, Spurs always choke up at the end. So even if they have a chance at top four, even if they have a chance at UCL final, they have a chance at I can say the EPL title, they have already always choked up. So how can Mourinho change them or both are past their best?
No, I think Mourinho Spurs are as surprise contenders for the top four. Definitely, I think they might even get United out of the top four if they play to the potential that they're supposed to play. And I think Mourinho's second season at United was, I think, 80 or above, more than 80 points. And at
81
that time,
points. Yeah.
it was the first time Leicester City sort of set that standard of winning the league above 90 points, I think. Before that, United has even won the league at 81 points with Ferguson. So I think, yeah, Mourinho had a good second season. I think he's going to have a great second season again. But it all depends on how fit Harry Kane is. If he loses him again for a couple of months or 3 months, then
That's right.
Spurs are dead. I don't think so. There's anyone to fill in the boots of Harry Kane at Spurs. Not even. I don't think they even have a second striker.
Yeah, they don't have.
Forget
That is right.
replacing.
They are looking for
Forget
someone.
replacing Harry Kane. So I think Harry Kane is Mourinho's guy, and Mourinho always, is heavily dependent on his strikers getting goals. So
That's
yeah, I think
absolutely
Harry
right.
Kane will define what Mourinho does this season mainly. Harry Kane and
Can,
Son as well. Yeah.
so can we say the same for Arteta and Aubameyang? Say if Aubameyang is not in the team, what is Arsenal? Honestly,
If
how do
Aubameyang
they get
is
goals?
If Aubameyang is not in the team, I think Arsenal are a
Top
bottom
10?
10 team
Bottom 10 team.
because what Arsenal got 40 50 points last season, 55 something.
55 out, yes.
So how much would they get
Something.
without Aubameyang? I don't think so. They would get any because Aubameyang
But
was competing for the Golden Boot, and
Right,
Arsenal
right.
got just 50-55 points. That means he's got all the points for Arsenal, almost.
that's true. But
He
there
got
was
the
some
cup as well.
defensive. That's true. 2-1 against 2 goals
Yeah.
against the team in the semi-finals
City.
and then in the finals, and
No,
also in the Community Shield.
they are nowhere without Aubameyang. They're nothing, and I feel first they need to get to challenging for the top four. They've not been close for a while now, so they need to get to a point where teams start taking them seriously, right? And
That's right.
and I don't think they're going to be there in top four this season. Arteta had a great season, I feel, but managing a full 38 game season is a completely different ball game. And this is
That's
his
true.
first, and he's just playing a style that's mainly dependent on counter attack, and
Right.
that is not going to get you
Sustain
to
for
the
a
top
long.
four. Yeah,
That's right.
Ole
That's right.
had to buy Bruno to stop counter attacking and carve open teams.
Defense.
Right.
And
Teams.
that's how he got in the top four. With counter attack, he was not going to get into the top four, and I
And
don't think Arsenal
that's the
will.
thing you see with City, na, carving open defenses with De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva. You need those kind of players. And Arsenal right now, what they suffer is in the midfield. They are almost on the verge of selling Lucas Torreira and even Gundozi. They want
Lucas
some,
Torreira is sold, I think. Yeah,
yeah. So
with
they
loan and a
want to
buy
ship,
clause. I think.
right. They want to ship out those players, but I don't know how they are going to fill in. They are even reluctant to even pay 50 million for Thomas Partey. They have been linked since I know a year, but they are
Yeah.
not able to get the money for that. I mean,
No,
that's
I
that's
think
something
they
to
had a bid for Awar as well, but I think they don't have the money to pay it in one go, and I think they're definitely going to be clubs who are going to pay the money for that player. So
yeah,
That is
Juventus might
absolutely
go for
Arsenal,
him.
yeah,
right. So
Arsenal
what,
has
Dikshit?
always. Yeah, yeah. Please go ahead.
So, what Dikshit do you think Arsenal need to do in the transfer market? Because no one sees the squad taking them up in the top four. Maybe they are fighting again for the top six. So Arsenal needs some reinforcements. They have the attack. They may have got few in the defense right now. So the midfield is the crucial area. So what do you think can make them a top four candidate if they sign the right players? Keeping aside the money if they have it or not.
So the problem with Arsenal is they are not able to get the transition from defense to attack quickly. With the pace of Aubameyang, they get solo goals, but they are not able to do that. Regularly. They need a proper number 8 or a number 10. Denis Ceballos is more of a 6 rather than a 8.
That's
I
right.
don't know. I don't know what's the problem with Ozil, but if he starts playing and with the likes of Pepe and Lacazette and Aubameyang in super hot form, I think they can compete for top form provided prime Ozil comes in. If not Ozil, I think they missed the trick with James Rodriguez.
That's
He was available for
Coutinho.
peanuts and he is going for Everton. So they missed.
He's already
Uh,
signed. He's already
yeah.
official
So
Everton player.
having a midfield, last to last season we had James Maddison at Norwich, and Leicester picked it up. Arsenal missed out. They are missing out the targets consistently. They are not. They are not. Yeah, they're looking for someone like Thomas Partey. How is he different than likes of Genduzi and Torreira? Go
That's
out
true.
and get a number 8 or a number 10. Why you're going for defensive minded midfielders? They already have Zaka in their team. They already have El Neni. How are they going to do it? I don't know. Willock, is he up to the mark? No, I don't think so. So maybe signing at number 8 and number 10. Probably two signings are required for Arsenal to make it to top 4.
So
How?
coming to Keyur,
Yeah.
one question I have. It was always said that Arsene Wenger was the guy who did not allow big money signings or something. But post Arsene Wenger, we are seeing again Arsenal not going the distance forward. Like we saw Liverpool going and throwing out the money for two players, 140 millions. They spent all the money they had. City went for all the fullbacks and rewound it. And I think United did the same, Chelsea doing the same. Arsenal are not doing it. So what is the reason? Because all these clubs have the same financial issues, have the revenues are more or less same, 100 million here and there. But these clubs outspend Arsenal by 100 millions every year on an average.
See, they
So
have gone for Nicolas Pepe, who's an expensive buy, and they are going to pay it on installments. But I guess there's something with their ownership as well, because they've never had, a 150 million or a 200 million, spend war chest on any of the
that's
transfer
right.
markets.
Anyway,
So I haven't able to figure out the reason for them, because that completely means that they don't even want to battle even for the top four. That makes me question about them. They have world class players in Lacazette and Aubameyang, but still, they are just competing for the top six, which is not a good sign.
going the
They
same
didn't compete for the
question,
top six as well.
No, they are not.
they
They were
the way
lingering around
Leicester.
10th all season.
That's true, and we see the way Wolves are going. They look like an ambitious club, hiring all the Portuguese players, the Brazilian players, the Mexican players. We see Leicester having
Leicester.
that shrewd signings, replacing Harry Maguire, replacing Ben Chilwell so soon, so quickly with fantastic players. So again, now coming to the Spurs part, Rohit, just like Arsenal not spending, Spurs also don't spend that much, but then again they had to reserve that funds for the new stadium. So yeah, that is there. But now with a manager that can win them their first trophy in years, because he can win something. It's Jose Mourinho at the end of the day. So do you think this should go a step forward and just not make team around Harry Kane? What if Harry Kane gets injured even for 2 months, say in December and January? It's over for Jose Mourinho. He cannot compete because four competitions will be running over that. They may soon be out of two.
Yeah, I think he definitely needs a backup to Harry Kane, a quality one. But I think he'll still, you give any manager Harry Kane, I think he'll build the team around it. So I don't think that's a mistake or something that Mourinho shouldn't do. But they definitely need a backup to Harry Kane, and Son
That's
is
right.
not the exact backup to Harry Kane. So I don't know, but
Yes.
strikers are even backup strikers are expensive. I think they were trying to go for Callum Wilson. I'm not sure, but
Uh,
He's
they
ended up
didn't
as
get
Callum
him.
Wilson is
Wilson
high.
Yeah,
is
they didn't get.
again a Newcastle player, so I doubt Callum Wilson will have chosen Newcastle if Spurs were interested over him.
Yeah.
So
So
that's really the situation of North London
and
clubs since many years. Yes,
yeah, and
Dixit.
I think with even with Daniel Levy, right? He's also they say he's a very shrewd sort of a negotiator. Even if Mourinho wants someone, it's not easy to
Right.
first convince Levy to get that player rather than
That's
just
right.
going.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we've seen in
That's
the
so
right. That's
meetings
right.
of the Amazon documentary, the constant meeting
yeah,
Yeah,
between Levy and
in
Mourinho.
spite of in spite of having so many injuries, for that extra 20 million, Daniel Levy had to let go of Christian Eriksen. So this
right.
was all presented in the documentary and everything. So yeah, trying to wrap up this episode, let's come to our favorite part. That again, what is the expected position and who is the key player? We all know Spurs have Harry Kane as the key player and Aubameyang as Arsenal's key player. So how
Arsenal's.
many goals do we expect uh, in EPL itself from these both strikers? And what is the finish we expect? A realistic finish we expect for Spurs as well as Arsenal. So Dikshit, coming to you first.
So speaking about Spurs and Harry Kane, if Harry Kane is totally fit, I feel him scoring somewhere around 20 and 25 goals, somewhere between 20 25 goals. And even if Harry Kane gets injured, knowing Mourinho, he will put in someone like Lucas Moura or Son in between and play the likes of Bergwijn on the wings. And the main man for Spurs, I think, is going to be Dele Ali rather than Harry Kane. I see Mourinho building his game around the likes of Dele Ali, Jetson Fernandez, and Lo Celso rather than Harry Kane. And I see them finishing fourth. Coming on to Arsenal, yes, Aubameyang is their main man. Again, I see him scoring more than 20 goals, not 25 goals because he's more of a speed guy and solo guy. And with the games coming every third day, fourth day, I think he'll take a rest or he'll take a snack somewhere in between. So I expect 20 goals from him. And Arsenal, I would not be surprised if they finished eighth.
Oh, that's a big call. KU.
So yeah, Arsenal for sixth or seventh because Leicester almost got the Champions League place. They missed out just by a point or something. So we are not covering them, but definitely they are in the race as well for the top four. We shouldn't discount them. So Arsenal has to pull out the guns for them. So it's either a seventh or an eighth finish for Arsenal, and Mourinho fifth or surprise top four for Spurs.
Rohit,
I
your
think
take?
Mourinho is definitely mostly going to finish in the top four. If not, he'll definitely be fifth, just around the top four at least. And I think Harry Kane, if he's fully fit all season, he'll definitely be competing for the Golden Boot, and he'll be around 20-25 goals. You expect a striker of his caliber to be there. And same for Aubameyang. I think he'll be around a 20-25 goal mark and be in
Yeah,
that
he'll be
Golden
scoring
Boot
the
run.
only goals for Arsenal, I guess.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he'll be in that Golden Boot run. So I think, but I don't see Arsenal. I see Arsenal challenging for sixth, but nothing more than that. I
So
think it
my
will be
take is
next.
also similar on the goal count for both these players. I do expect Harry and Oba to fight for the Golden Boot. So I'll say around 23, 25 goals easily if they both remain fit. Coming to the teams part, I have a soft corner for Mourinho doing something very good always with any of the clubbies, irrespective he gets sacked. So I see Spurs going for the third spot finish this season, in my opinion, with everything that Mourinho has got, and assuming Harry Kane is fit for the season. And Arsenal, again, the problem was defensive things. I think they have sorted out. They have got Leno in prime form. They got Tierney. They got Gabriel. They have got Saliba. So that is a big thing. The only things I think. So I again expect them to finish sixth, at least in the Europa League. It's the only thing that I think can be better from both these North London clubs is we haven't seen them winning against top four sides. They did not have results against a bad Manchester United. They don't have got that results consistently results against Liverpool, Chelsea for that matter. Chelsea are not their prime since the last 3 years, and we don't see them dominating Chelsea. It is out of 6 points they share the points 3-3, 4-2, something like that. Maybe they got some FA Cup wins. Arsenal did get them, but I doubt these two clubs can beat them. And if you cannot beat them, it's very hard because all those games are 6 pointers. So for me, this competition will be very important. Even I'll throw Leicester and Wolves for that matter in that top eight space and see how Arsenal and Spurs do against these teams, seven teams on. So yeah, that's a roundup for us in the today's episode. Hope to catch you all in the next episodes. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.